So don't think that I don't know this, इसलिए मैं ये नहीं कर सकती. आप सब कर सकते हो. Nothing is rocket science unless you are building rocket.
पहले तो दिमाग को ठीक मस्त रखो एकदम. काम से काम इज आवर मोटो फॉर द टीम. CALM, काम से हिंदी वाला काम. काम अगर नहीं है काम में तो फिर काम का मतलब नहीं.
इससे खूबसूरत तरीके से तो कोई बोल ही नहीं सकता था.
I realize that if we don't have a brief, if we don't have a boundary, it's very ironical. But if you have a boundary, you can think out of it. और मुझे लगता है ना फिर शिद्दत बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग चाहिए कि मुझे ये भी करना है और ये भी करना है और मुझे करना है. तो बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग शिद्दत चाहिए. मुझे लगता है कि अपना खुद का स्टार्टअप रन करना ना किसी पागलपन से ना कम नहीं है. और उसका रन कर जाना किसी करिश्मे से कम नहीं है.
You know, something like our Mangalsutra collection, we debated for the longest time whether we want to make Mangalsutras, because as women we weren't aligned with it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Women Speak. This is a podcast where we share journeys of trailblazing women and their incredible stories. Today, we have two sisters here with us who started a cult handcrafted jewelry brand. They were on Shark Tank recently and have created waves all over the internet and social media. They are as bindas guests. Welcome to the podcast, Pragya and Divya from Quirksmith.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us in Women Speak. And let's just get started. You've recently been on Shark Tank and there's a whole buzz around it. We see you everywhere on social media. So how has it been? How's been the experience at Shark Tank?
I think it was really special. I think for us, the team, the 7 years of work kind of culminated to this moment. So it was a big deal for all of us. I think to be able to share the brand story in the manner that we were able to bring out the poetic essence and the thought behind the brand was really good. I think it created a connect with not just our existing community, but a lot of new people came. So in a lot of ways, there was a lot of new energy within the team. But in a lot of ways, I think it is also the same, because as an entrepreneur, you, I guess, don't take too much time to celebrate what has happened. And now we've kind of all put our heads back and, just trying to get back to action and have a lot of conversations. All the doors that are opening up, one thing we're trying to do is just make sure we have every conversation that comes our way, because it is a way for us also to learn. So yeah, it's quite exciting.
No, it was a wonderful episode and I just absolutely loved the poetry that, you did there, and was amazing. And as also a fellow entrepreneur, I have followed your brand for many, many years. I think since the beginning itself, when I started my mom store journey, I used to look at your collection and even have bought stuff from you. Your rings would say Musafir and Ahimsa, and all of those wonderful stuff that you create. So what is the the idea behind creating a cult jewelry brand, and how did you guys decide to differentiate from the run of the mill silver jewelry that you find in the market?
So I feel cult ऐसी चीज़ है जो किया नहीं जाता हो जाता है. And once we started out, we wanted to create something. We wanted to create jewelry that is conversation starter, that is more than a decoration piece, that brings you closer to yourself. And the fact that it turned out to be something that people appreciate is just very good fortune, and is our luck that we have that, everything put together, it just reached a lot of people and we got appreciation, I think so. So our intention was to create something, to create jewelry that speaks, that gets you closer to the person you want to be.
So, you are a designer and she's a business person. How do you, work on your roles as, co-founders of the startup? And do you even interchange it sometimes? And do you meddle with the designs, and do you give her advice on business strategy?
Yeah.
I dare not.
And I dare not. No, but I think it is. It's also great that our skills are so complementary, right? Because we trust each other. I think the fact that we are sisters, the value systems are are similar. So how we feel about money, how we feel about growth, how we feel about a life we want to live, we're on the same page with that. So that really, I think once your values, core values are aligned, then disagreements are just they're just a part of the surface. But the fact that our skill sets are different, we trust each other with their respective strengths, but at the same time give feedback. So for instance, you know I would share feedback on the design process from the lens of what categories we need to build, or what is the price point we need to come
और
up
दिव्या
with.
ज़्यादा बहू मत,
हाँ.
रुक जाओ.
Divya works great with constraints. As a creative person, she needs those constraints to, create something of value. And then once you give those constraints, she just like blows everyone's minds away. So,
So
as a
creative
business
person
team,
with boundaries.
yeah,
I need, because otherwise ना creative इंसान को boundaries बहुत ज़रूरी है. मैंने कॉलेज में सीखा था कि क्योंकि क्या हुआ, एक क्लास ऐसी थी जहाँ पे ना our faculty, Ashi sir, Dave sir, he came and he said, okay, fine. We were very exhausted with briefs. Case what, sir? Brief, design brief. Okay, we don't want. He said, okay, fine. Now you design anything. No brief. And we all went berserk. We were like, "Ab kya kare? What to design? We don't know. How to design? We don't know. What is our inspiration? We don't know." He said, "Design whatever you want to." And then after 2 days, we went to him. We said, "Sorry, sir. Please give us a brief." I realized that if we don't have a brief, if we don't have a boundary, it's very ironical. But if you have a boundary, you can think out of it.
Yeah.
That's the irony of the whole thing, you know.
True.
So
true.
I truly
Very
need
true.
boundaries.
Definitely. Yeah, I understand. And I think somebody doing business needs to know what are they going to do, who are they targeting, customer कौन है, product में क्या feature होना चाहिए. अगर सब कुछ हटा देंगे तो सब कुछ थोड़ी कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल. और क्रिएटिव इंसान की तो बड़ी इशू है. मतलब कहाँ बह जाऊँ कुछ भी नहीं पता, सुबह से शाम हो जाए नहीं पता चलेगी. इसलिए आई तो नीड बाउंड्रीज.
So how do you create those boundaries at work? Like, what do you prefer? Work from home, या work from office? What is your working style?
Both are work from office, I think.
Both are work from-
studio, we need to
yeah.
be at the studio.
yeah.
Collaborating, I think, because of that, like
Yes.
to be able to collaborate with each other, and for us that's the way to work. And plus my workshop is there, so if I have to create with somebody who is helping me create. It's on my mind, I have to put it on paper, then I have to put it in form of a piece. If I don't go to the studio, if I work at home in isolation, I won't be able to have that kind of interaction, and work and solve. Design is also, it evolves a lot once you're hands on. Like on paper, you can only do so much. In your mind, you can do so much. But once you're building it, that's when so much addition happens, and it can only happen in the studio. And then she's there to brainstorm with, and
Yeah.
So after you design on, say, paper and figure out these are your ideas and everything, how do you decide what is the go-to market strategy, and how will you bring those pieces to life and have sell them on a platform or website?
Typically, now we've done this for a few years. We only started actually doing proper collections as early as 2022. So it's only been 2 years. For the first 5 years, we were kind of sprinkling. We were just like a couple of people in the team and creating sprinkles of these new designs. But 2022 onward, we started creating more thematic collections. And we saw the impact it had on repeat purchase and, people who love the brand coming back for something new. So now there's more structure to the launches that we do, the time that we do them. And so typically I think in a year we do about 10 odd collections, of which 5 would be bigger ones which have a theme to it, like Meherun Nisa, which is a story of Noor Jahan, using which Divya created about 35 odd designs. Or our recent collection, which is Darwaze. It's an invitation to open the doors to your heart. So there's a lot of opening mechanisms. You can, etch
Messagings,
the
yeah.
names of your loved ones, or a special date special to you. So half of those collections would be larger thematic collections, and then the other half would be, around a new category that we want to go in. For instance, watch charms, smaller pieces, but a category that we launch at one go. So that's how it now works.
पर आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बोली कि कल्ट ब्रांड कोई बना नहीं सकता है, वो बन जाता है. और कल्ट ब्रांड बनाने के लिए ना कस्टमर की नस में जो एक उसकी विश है वो पकड़नी पड़ती है, जो उनको शायद पता भी नहीं हो कि दैट देयर इज अ नीड फॉर दैट. सो हाउ डू यू डू योर रिसर्च? आप कैसे समझते हैं कि कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए होगा? एंड यू नो हाउ डू यू लाइक, I know you are a creative person, but how do you come up with that feeling? Because a brand is very closely connected to a feeling. And you know, a brand will not end up having repeat purchases or a loyal customer base if it is not associated with a feeling. So how do you bring about that feeling in your customers, or understand what is the feeling that they will want to own and wear and, you know, express through your jewelry?
तो इसमें ना मेरी अपब्रिंगिंग, हमारी अपब्रिंगिंग हमें बहुत मदद देती है, बिकॉज वी बीन बॉट अप इन अ वेरी वेरी लविंग एनवायरनमेंट. लाइक बोथ पेरेंट्स, दे लव ईच अदर, दे लव अस, यू नो, वी लव देम, वी लव ईच अदर, एंड देयर इज ओनली लव दैट वी हैव सीन, देयर इज ओनली नर्चर, केयर, all positive nice feelings that we have grown up with a lot of books. So feeling, why I am saying this is because in our upbringing we have experienced emotion and expression, and I believe that that's the biggest strength a human mind and body has, you know, कि हम express कर सकते हैं उस तरीके से जिस तरीके से शायद कोई और प्राणी नहीं कर सकता. और अगर वो बात अगर मुझ में खुद में है तो जाहिर सी बात है एम्पैथी मेरे अंदर होगी, मेरे मतलब बिल्टअप होगी, तो किसी और की दिक्कतें, किसी और की प्रॉब्लम्स, किसी और का प्यार, किसी और की नफरत मुझे ज़्यादा जल्दी समझ आएगा. अगर वो होगा तो मैं प्रॉब्लम्स आइडेंटिफाई कर पाऊंगी कि अच्छा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमारे पास एक कलेक्शन है विच इज़ द लेटर्स, चिट्ठियाँ. बड़ी ज़रूरी चीज़ थी, मैं मिस करने लगी चिट्ठियों को. मुझे लगा यार ये तो बहुत गड़बड़ हो गई, मतलब कि व्हाट्सएप करने लगे हम, लंबी चिट्ठियाँ
बच्चों
कहाँ
को तो
गई,
पता ही
प्यार
नहीं
कहाँ
चिट्ठियाँ
गया,
क्या
पता
होती
ही
है.
नहीं है. तो मुझे लगा कि अच्छा ये शायद एक नीड हो सकती, जैसे मैं सोच रही हूँ ऐसे शायद कोई और भी सोच रहा होगा, शायद उससे भी मन होगा कि मैं किसी को एक ऐसी चिट्ठी लिख के दूँ जो कभी ना मिटे. तो वहाँ से एक प्रोडक्ट निकल के आया. फिर मुझे लगा कि अच्छा सस्टेनेबिलिटी की तरफ सब जा रहे हैं, आई वॉन्ट टू बी अ सस्टेनेबल पर्सन, तो वहाँ से ऐसी चीज़ें निकल के आई जिसको आप ब्रेसलेट की तरह भी पहन सकते हैं, नेकलेस की तरह भी. तो आई एसेंशियली डिज़ाइन इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग प्रोसेस. नाउ हाउ डू यू find a problem? A problem could be in an emotion. Expression of emotion is a problem. You know, sustainability is a problem that we are trying to solve. Buy less, wear more is our motto. We are trying to, you know, build on that. So that's where if you define a problem well, a well-defined problem will give you is half the way towards solution. So I think that's, if you want to add on something, I'm
And I
missing
think
out.
what really helps is also we are at the end of the day creating for women. So the
Right.
brand's also growing as we are growing as women, as individuals.
Right,
So,
that happens.
you know, something like our Mangal Sutra collection, we debated for the longest
Yeah.
time whether we want to make Mangal Sutras, because as women we weren't aligned with it. But the more we spoke to people, you know, Divya realized that I have a lot of friends who wear it because it's part of a tradition that they either want to keep,
Attachment है ना
or
उससे.
you know, it's you meet, you have a family gathering once a year and you wear it. Like it's a piece of jewelry that you wear either out of respect or out of your own you know, traditions that you want to keep. Now for the longest time Mangal Sutras don't have the woman's essence in it, right? It's a pretty looking piece, and that's where वहाँ से वो शब्दों का use आया, आजाद रूह या मलंग या राही, you know, to, it is a piece of jewelry that a woman has to wear. It might as well reflect what she is. It is not something that is tying her down. It is a relationship that can also give you wings.
In fact, that was the
And
brief that I made for myself. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you said. You know.
So I think also being women and designing for women from a lens of you know, jewelry being a way of expressing yourself and expressing your needs and emotions, just I think part of it also comes naturally then to define some of these
Yeah, that's a beautiful perspective, because honestly, I have never worn a Mangal Sutra, and in fact, in corporate setups and all, I've been asked, why are you not wearing? You should show that you are a married woman. And I'm like, why do you show that you are
Really?
married all the
Yeah.
time? Why should we wear that on our sleeve?
Yeah.
So, in your Shark Tank experience, what was the difference between the real life and the real life? मतलब वहाँ जाके जो हमने स्क्रीन पे देखा और एक्चुअली में जो हुआ उसका कुछ स्निपेट्स.
आई थिंक ओवरऑल सी द, जैसे मैंने बोला शुरू के 3 मिनट जो कविताओं वाला पार्ट था, वो दैट इज द ओनली पार्ट दैट यू प्रैक्टिस. everything else is unscripted. So behind the scenes ये बहुत होता है कि जो सोनी टेलीविजन की टीम है, they're like a bunch of great people,
Beautiful team.
very professional,
Very good
very
team.
kind. So they make sure it is an intense experience for any founder to go through, and they make sure that you're calm. They make sure that they help you prepare. You know, their business teams will sit with you and help you, you know, ask you questions so that you feel more prepared. So I think वो लोग कोशिश करते हैं पूरे एनवायरनमेंट को एज लेस स्ट्रेसफुल, बिकॉज हम लोग स्टार्स नहीं है ना, हम पहली बार सेट पे जाते हैं, तो द ग्रैंडोएस ऑफ इट ऑल कैन बी इंटिमिडेटिंग फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ अस.
The grandeur.
Yes, and they try and you know, make sure that it's not a big deal. I think which they do a great job at.
Yeah.
Is there a live audience watching?
No, there isn't.
But it's all live. It's all like there is no recording. There is, as in there is. It's not something that you prepared for. There is no cut.
So yeah, they'll not allow you to cut.
It's
They will
fully
cut whatever
candid,
they
completely.
want.
Yes.
It was a 1.5 hour
Intense
session. Like
session.
once you go in, you're by yourself. Of course, there are cameras all over the place, but you don't stop. Like it is like you're just talking to 5 people. You're pitching your business. Cameras just happen to be there.
Also, like 4-5 shoots happen in a day.
Yeah.
4-5 pitches happen in a day. So these 4-5 pitches, all the owners or the entrepreneurs, they are all sitting in one room like this, like how you and me are sitting right now. So we were told कि 3 दिन का ऐसा practice session होगा. मतलब basically they would make you practice your pitch and conversation. It's not like a ratification session. It's a session where you talk. And you sort of, prepare yourself for the camera, prepare yourself, because you don't know, as a layperson, you have no clue. And in the back end, there was a lot of waiting that happened, because एक का chance है, फिर दूसरे का, फिर हम क्या करें, कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे. हम thankfully हम अपना गिटार ले गए दोनों. और हमने जो back end में मस्ती की है ना सबने, and the entire all the 5, if any of them is watching this episode, they will know कि हमने कितनी मस्ती की है background में, मतलब back end में, green room में. Everybody was like, यार ये बड़े मजे, इनको क्या, वहाँ पे इंडियन आइडल की शूटिंग भी चल रही थी, तो बोला इंडियन आइडल भेज दे इनको, ये इतनी मस्ती कर रही है, इनको तो गाने आ गए, क्योंकि हमें लगा क्या करें,
सबकी मस्ती करा दी, सबका टेंशन डिफ्यूज कर दिया.
There was dance, like somebody started jiving, and there was like the entire mahal was
Quirksmith. The entire mahal was Quirksmith.
It was music and dance, and it was like so amazing.
संगीत और मुसाफिर.
हाँ, बिल्कुल. और शायद मेरे ख्याल में किसी और सेशन में ऐसा हुआ नहीं होगा Shark Tank के
recordings. I think उनको वो भी दिखाना चाहिए था behind the scenes, because that's the essence of the brand also.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, are there any these kinds of trolling or perspectives or stuff like that you have faced in your journey on, certain, it could also be the opposite side, that you're emboldening the women too much, or, these are not how they are supposed to express themselves. Have you heard any such things in your journey?
No, not really. I think we get a lot of love. The community is also building in such a way, right? Like these are women who are also trying to find themselves, and, women who resonate with the ideas of feminism, that there's a subtle language that exists in our pieces, whether it's a warrior spirit, or, embracing your authentic side, or being the quirky malang that you want to be. So it's, and I think that's the journey for all of us. We want to come closer to who we are and accept ourselves. And I think our jewelry enables women on that path to do that. So the right kind of people, the community that aligns is being built. So not on the...
So how are you building this community, and how do you interact with your customers? Because I understand Instagram is one place, but do you have like offline events? How are you connecting to your customers and speaking to them?
We get a lot of feedback through pop-ups. Like Divya and I make sure to personally go to these, because these are a way for us to connect with people and, celebrate as well. So that's one place to get a lot of feedback. Also a place to connect with the community. And now Divya has started doing Mehfile-Ishq, which is kind of an extension.
Yeah, I saw something on Instagram.
Yeah. So maybe you want to talk about it.
Poetry and words is just, that is the umbrella, expressions, poetry, jazbaat, alfaz. That's the common theme that runs between Mehfile-Ishq and Quirksmith. So through Mehfile-Ishq, I'm able to communicate, because that is just about Jazbaat Alfaz music. I'm running it with a friend, Anchal. She's like another very, very good, human in my life, like I really value. And that allows me to interact with people. We are also trying to now do Mehfil with, a space where we have some Quirksmith jewelry also there as part of Mehfil-e-Ishq also on the side. We are trying that because when I go to Mehfils, I interact with people. A lot of times people ask me that ज्वेलरी तो लेके नहीं आए कुछ भी अरे मैं तो खाली बात करने आई थी यहाँ पे ठीक है चलो अब हम ये because
वो आपकी आइडेंटिटी बन जाती है
and it is an overlapping product. It is like there is an overlap. अम्ब्रेला वही है, इंसान वही है, जज्बात वही है, तो फिर क्यों नहीं?
Yeah.
So what's your choice, retail or online? What do you prefer more?
Personally? Wow. I think now I've become a pop-up shopper. I love to go to the pop-ups that are being curated and just discover new, smaller brands. And, I just buy from local brands.
Me too. I think, but I've always been reluctant online shopper.
Yeah.
So
but your brand is online and all.
Yes, which is why
that's because it started by introverts. We were like, सामने नहीं जाना,
and
क्या
bootstrapped.
करें? And bootstrapped. Yeah, 2 reasons.
Yeah, for me it is like मुझे किसी से बात नहीं करनी. Can you please just be anonymous and shop?
Yeah.
So that's there. But what about business problems? What kind of business problems have you faced in this journey? How long has it been for you?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So in 7 years, I'm sure this was a pre-COVID era, then a COVID era, then a post-COVID era, and now the D2C is like so competitive.
Yeah.
A lot of players have come and gone and are still there. So what do you have to say about challenges and, how have you faced those business challenges?
Yeah, I think business challenges, we've always been bootstrapped, and that's the path we want to continue on as well. So I think as a result, the pace of growth, there is a limit to the pace of growth because you can only hire the kind of people. So I think just making peace with this one thing, that bootstrapping is something that we enjoy. The pace of that's something that we enjoy. So we try to not get, disoriented with all the noise around us and keep doing the work that we are doing and have fun while at it. So challenges, of course, COVID was, I think, by far the biggest challenging times for us.
और ऐसा भी था कि जब हम कोविड से निकल चुके थे तो हम एक दूसरे से बात करते, हमने कहा यार अब ये देख लिया ना, अब सब देख लिया. इस तूफान से निकल गए तो अब प्रैक्टिस हो गई, तूफान झेल लेंगे, कोई बात नहीं.
Of course, day-to-day challenges तो होते ही है, but nothing out of the blue. I think COVID was the biggest one. Beyond that, it's just, I think, aligning the team. Like, I didn't imagine when I started out that spending time on people and becoming a better leader would be one of the things that I end up spending most of my time on, and that I do now, which is a new kind of a challenge, but I think I enjoy the growth that comes with it.
Yeah,
I think all the team also really, really enjoys her as a leader because, like, she's very focused and very, she's very kind, very focused. Like, she's got all the right ingredients that you need a leader to have.
I also got to know that your team is 60% women.
Yes.
So how have built that team together? And I understand that building a team for a cult brand, everybody needs to live and breathe the brand on almost a daily basis.
Yes.
So how do you build that cohesive energy, and talk to us a little about your team and how big is it and what all behind the scenes?
So the thing is that all our operation team is entirely women, like 100%. The only 5-6 people that we have in the team which are men are the artisans. Reason? It's a very strange, solid, strong reason. We want to still hire women artisans, but there are no women artisans. We tried training a few women artisans, but it hasn't worked out so far. So now we are at in a space where we are trying to get more women into the artisan,
So
the
you
jewelry
hire your
making.
own artisans.
Yes. So
Wow.
we have the only men in the team are the 5 artisans, because there are no women artisans available. Like, absolutely no. So that's the problem that we are facing right now. I mean, because I would love for a woman also to understand that she can also make jewelry. I'm a
Yeah.
silversmith, you know. So I'm sure women can be silversmiths. When we started out, I was literally making my own samples and trying to.
Wow.
But you need to do that. You need to know how to make jewelry to be
I
able
think
to
it will
write
also
silver.
be empowering for them to
Yes.
create
Yes,
the jewelry
exactly.
that
Yeah.
you're doing in
Yes.
its whole messaging and the act of it.
I would love if a woman comes to me and say, I want to learn the art of jewelry making, and I would make it happen. I'm trying to find also people, but कॉन्फिडेंस की थोड़ी सी कमी है, और इस भरोसे की, इस विश्वास की कमी है कि मैं सिल्वर स्मिथ भी बन सकती हूँ. वो तो आदमी का काम है, दैट्स व्हाट अ वुमन वुड कम एंड टेल मी कि नहीं, आप मुझसे ना झाड़ू पोछा लगवा लो, घर के बर्तन करवा लो, या पुवाई करवा लो, या फिर कुछ और करवा लो, लाइक पैकेजिंग करा लो, ऑल दैट. बट सिल्वर स्मिथिंग नहीं सीखनी है क्या किसी को, तो पर मैं कोशिश कर रही हूँ. तो एनीवे, वी आर इन अ स्पेस वेयर our entire operations team is women, 100%. Our mom is also part of that team.
Wow.
And 6 men artisans we have.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with such biases, and do you see such biases outside of this particular community also? And maybe when you're doing a pitch or somewhere else, have you ever faced bias, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I think initially in our career we did.
Yeah.
Because we would go to the silver markets to buy raw silver or buy chains, raw materials, and people would just ask us to, not entertain basically. They thought these 2 women are out here shopping.
करने आ गए हैं.
So
गलत जगह आ गए
या
shopping.
गलत जगह आ गए
नहीं,
हैं.
मतलब यहाँ तो
हमको
खाली
बोलने ही नहीं
wholesale
देते
मिलता
थे.
है. हाँ,
हमने
यहाँ-
बोला चेन है, यहाँ नहीं मिलेगा. Like they have stacks of chain and we could be a
You can
possible
see it.
buyer. But I think it's also, I mean, a person's hard luck. If you're bringing biases in business, then you're creating your own limit, your
Yeah.
own, boundaries of how much you can grow. But the people who did take a chance on us, who did not let their biases come in the way of entertaining, 2 young women out there to buy raw materials, are now our biggest vendors.
Yeah.
So good for them. But yeah, those are the biases I
Yeah.
remember, I think.
So Divya, you have a 10-year-old daughter, and you are a mommy and entrepreneur, and you've been a mother, I think, throughout your Quirksmith journey. So how have you managed both the sides?
That question comes to me very often, and I feel that why isn't a man asked the same question? So, like, I often feel that my husband is never asked how do you manage work and child at the same time, because in our society we are
I'm
expected
guilty
to.
of asking this question.
No, it's a very valid question. I mean, it is. Having said that, it is a very valid question, because the expectation from the society is from the woman. Thankfully, I have a very, very good support system. My husband is truly an amazing partner. He is, he's pulled off a beautiful partnership, taking care of our daughter together. And we also have our parents in the same city. Her Katha is also her kid, in a way. So we have like a very, very strong and very good support system. I have been taking Katha to the studio when she was very, very young. You know how before 5 kids are more towards their mothers. They want to be so till she was 5-6 years old. 6 की थी तब तो कोविड आ गया, तो हम सभी घर में बैठे थे. But 5 years तक तो I used to take her to the studio after school. Her bus used to like drop her to the studio, and she used to be there in the creative. The environment is also so good, so creative, conducive for a kid of that age to learn. So that's how we've managed. And now to my husband is work from home. He travels sometimes, but mostly she's with him now. So it's easy. It's not been that tough for me. I've been very fortunate. Very, very fortunate.
No, and I'm sure, having 2 kids myself and running a business, I think it just looks more difficult from the outside.
Hmm.
But when you start doing it and you build your entire support system, it's like, okay, fine, why not?
No, but I think mothers could give themselves some credit. I babysit Katha once a week, and I'm like, my battery's out. So I mean, she really does. I think she really does a lot of
I know my
work.
sister-in-law says the same. She comes and she's like, I think I have entered another planet. I need to go back to my own after this.
Yeah.
It's like it's you have to. और मुझे लगता है ना फिर शिद्दत बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग चाहिए कि मुझे ये भी करना है और ये भी करना है और मुझे करना है. अब मैं फिगर आउट कर लूंगी, you know. तो बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग शिद्दत चाहिए. मुझे लगता है कि अपना खुद का स्टार्टअप रन करना ना या छोटी एक कंपनी रन करना किसी पागलपन से ना कम नहीं है.
हाँ.
और उसका रन कर जाना किसी करिश्मे से कम नहीं है. मुझे
That
लगता
is
है.
also true. एक करिश्मा ही है, तो मिरेकल नहीं. पता नहीं कैसे चल रहा है, बस चल रहा है. So both of you have together started this business, and what would you tell women entrepreneurs, you know, when they are starting out, breaking glass ceilings, charting their own path? What would be your advice for them?
I think my advice would be, it's something that we also happen to say during Shark Tank, but the truth is आप सब सीख लेते हो. So don't think that I don't know this, इसलिए मैं ये नहीं कर सकती. आप सब कर सकते हो. Nothing is rocket science unless you're building rockets. So just know that there is so much information out there and you will figure it out. So ask for help and just dive in and start learning.
And I think that they must do,
Yes.
not that they can. Because learning everything on your own makes you more confident.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to, like, you know, hire someone or have dependency on an agency or anything. Because and then you can also have that conversation that this is right or wrong. So
Yeah.
I feel that all women entrepreneurs should do everything from the basic on their own to
Yes.
understand how it
Absolutely.
works and then delegate it to others.
Yes, I know.
Totally agree.
It
with
was
you.
also an advice I recently got from one of my friends who runs like a wonderful startup, and I went up to him, said that, you know, I feel like I don't have this person in my team. मुझे ये skill set gap है मेरी टीम में. तो उसने मुझे बोला कि एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर ना आपको खुद ही सीखना पड़ेगा. तो पहले खुद सीखो, फिर ही तो किसी से जाके आप सवाल करोगे या सही डायरेक्शन भी दोगे. तो आई थिंक वो टेकिंग द टाइम टू जस्ट लर्न योर सेल्फ लाइक यू सेड, एंड इट्स अ कल्चर इन आवर ओन टीम. हमारी टीम में कोई भी ऐसा नहीं है जो पहले से सीख के आया है. जो लोग 7-8 साल से काम करके भी आए हैं वो इसलिए आए क्योंकि उन्हें अपनी एग्जिस्टिंग स्पेस से निकलना था, कुछ नया ट्राई करना था, क्योंकि पता था कि मुझ में ये कहीं फायर है ये सीखने की. एंड आई थिंक यू नो, being open to that learning process ourselves and giving that opportunity to people has actually also benefited us, because you know these women are doing great stuff. They're learning new things every day and breaking their own you know, glass ceiling, so to say.
So we have a fun segment that we had planned on for this podcast, and that is rapid fire.
And do we both answer the same question?
Yeah, you can.
तो पहले तो फिर मैं जवाब कर सकती.
Okay. Bootstrapped or funded?
Bootstrapped.
Gold or silver?
Silver ages like poetry, like wine.
Yeah. Work from home or work from office?
Work from office.
Instagram or Pinterest?
Pinterest.
Instagram for me. I hear Pinterest is for the creative folks. So it's maybe not a space that.
If you had superpower for one day, what would it be?
Wow.
I would train like 6 women artisans
Yes.
and get them on board. Yeah.
Mine too.
No, yours has to be different.
I think I would like all the women to taste the freedom of going to work and making their own money.
Wow.
Nice. Wow. So, if you could be the CEO of any startup for a day, which startup would you choose?
I would choose Nicobar. I love them.
It's not a startup that I'm choosing, but it's a very, very nice art-led company. It's called Torani. It's run by, the name Torani is of the owner, surname of the owner. So yeah.
If you could learn any new skill overnight, what would it be?
New skill. I would just want to write more poetry. Like, that's all.
You already have that skill.
No, it's not polished. Yeah, I mean, I
get
don't
better
think.
at it. I
Yeah, I
guess.
want to get better at it.
Yeah, I would. I think UI UX.
Ah, yes, how to increase the conversion
Yes.
rate on the website.
I am always intrigued when those feedbacks come, you know, when we're in a group and there's a product thinker who comes up with something and I'm like, wow, that is interesting, you know, I'd love to be able to think like this as well. So yeah.
Yeah, one thing is to think like that, and then the other thing is to actually get it delivered.
Yes,
That is also a
absolutely.
big challenge right
Yeah,
now
yeah,
in D2C,
yeah.
especially like online space.
Absolutely.
What's your go-to productivity hack when you're feeling overwhelmed with tasks?
I think just put my head down and start doing the stuff, and that takes care of the anxiety. Just like oftentimes anxiety comes because I'm avoiding something that I don't want to do, and then it keeps piling up till the last minute. So the only way out is actually doing the job.
I think I just take a cup of coffee. I'll sit with her. I'll be like, just manage this for me. Like I'm so all over the place. Just put it together and tell me मैं पहले कौन सा खत्म करूँ. Like, yeah, I think a coffee with Pragya is my hack.
With chai or coffee?
Chai. Me chai, but yeah, she coffee, so I drink coffee because of साथ. साथ ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है ना चाय कॉफी से. तो मैं
Morning person or night owl?
morning.
Yeah,
both
we're
of
both
us.
morning person.
I used to be a night owl at some point.
Yeah,
Of time.
Bangalore changed us.
Bangalore people get up very late.
Really?
Yeah, no,
I think
very
so because
early.
of the weather now. It's really hard to get people to office by 9. No?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
No, I think it's.
we have a routine now going on for us. So
Yeah.
we sleep early, get up early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So
wonder
also
we are having this
prioritizing.
podcast at 9:30.
5 a.m. club.
Yeah, we are the 5 a.m. club.
Nice. I'm sort of 6 a.m. trying to
Yeah,
get
I
to
mean,
5
it's
a.m.
just
Yeah,
5
yeah.
a.m. is a buzzword, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm also closer to 6 a.m. Honesty.
And what is your biggest lesson learned at Shark Tank?
You know, it's okay to not align with someone's idea of how they want to grow as a business. Like, I think that was my learning, like, and how to take the right call. Just listen to your body and
Yeah.
mind.
I think that was my learning in such a high pressure situation.
Yeah.
Being able to listen to your body and mind to make a decision, I think takes a lot of
Yeah.
work and trying to find your calm inside, because what you see is a 15-minute edited version, but it's a 1.5 hour unscripted,
Grilling.
almost like a grilling session.
Yes.
And it's the first time we were pitching. So I think in that moment to be aligned to our values without having the opportunity to be able to speak to
Talk
each other
to each other.
and take a decision from how our heart and body felt rather than whether this was a
Yeah.
rational thing to do or not. I think that was my biggest learning.
I think that tug of war between the heart and mind is always there.
Yes.
We
yes.
listen to our bodies. Like when we went out, we got that 1 minute to go out and decide. And we somewhere knew we are on the same page, but बात तो करनी पड़ेगी ना. अंदर जाके तुझे कुछ और लगा, मुझे कुछ और. We just went there, stood on the side and said, body क्या कह रही है? And we were like, यार दिल नहीं, मतलब, you know, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा. This is not what I want to do. So she's like, yes, I am also very clear. Like, because we were so clear. Like, we were like, यार, अब समय की बर्बादी क्यों करनी इसके beyond? जब मुझे इतनी clarity है कि, you know, if you feel that this is your value and you are offered a value which is very, very, very devalued,
Yes.
then you're like, किसी का समय क्यों बर्बाद करूँ अब इसके beyond यहाँ पे? You know? मुझे लगा था कि मेरे सपने और आपके सपने aligned हैं, पर ये गलत लगा था मुझे. मेरे सपने अलग हैं, आपके सपने ही अलग हैं. तो फिर उसके बियॉन्ड फिर हमने लगा कि समय ना बर्बाद किया जाए. थोड़ा लंबा हो गया रैपिड फायर से ज़्यादा.
But ये last question था तो चल रहा. पर मुझे ये भी पूछना है कि you know we've 7 years for you, 5 years for me. We've seen like the entire startup journey space as a whole, going from like crazy growth to slowing down to all the problems the industry faces today. What is your opinion between hustle and slow and sustainable growth to a fast-paced, crazy breakneck growth? How do you guys align yourself? Because the D2C world is changing very, very fast.
No, I think we're very clear on that slow, sustainable growth. You have to enjoy the journey, right? Like we didn't start this एक दौड़ से निकल के दूसरी दौड़ का हिस्सा बनने तो नहीं शुरू किया था ये. तो we just were very conscious of that. So yes, slow sustained growth. at any day. I think we're also fortunate to be in a space that allows us to do that, right? To be in a creative, to be creating creative products that are differentiated. You know, that's a strong USP. So there's also a certain bit of niche that we are fortunate to find ourselves in. I don't think with the amount of competition, not everyone has that luxury as well. But there's somewhere a sense of we're making for a small, I guess, for a niche audience, and it is possible to do this slowly and steadily. And any day we're on for that, then break everything, and I think you
feel
also
everything
damage
is-
your mental health,
Yeah.
people's mental health,
And sort
in
of,
the
I think
process.
growth becomes like a hack.
Yeah.
You don't want to hack through growth.
Yes.
You want to like enjoy the process also at the end of
Exactly.
it.
I mean, this is also a creative process, right? Even though I don't consider myself a creative person, but the reflection, the journey that we are taking, the path that we want to take, for me is a creative thinking process. And creativity can't be hacked. Like people continue their works, creative people continue their works for years, and they still feel like there's so much energy left in me to like do my best work yet. And I think that's how I feel constantly. Like I still feel 7 years down the line that the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
So it's that mix of hope and
That's the entrepreneur's optimism.
yeah.
कि अब सही हो जाएगा.
Yes.
हाँ.
बस अब
सही
अब
है.
सही हो
Yeah.
जाएगा.
Having said that, कोई silver bullet भी नहीं है जो सारे problem solve करेगी, but everyday consistent efforts, just showing up.
और मुझे लगता है कि सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि आपने ये चीज़ क्यों शुरू की है. Why did you start it in the first place? Was your motivation money? Was your motivation to solve a problem? Was your motivation to have a good life for yourself and for the people you're working with?
Yes.
तो it depends upon आपको चाहिए क्या. मुझे रात को अपने बिस्तर पे जाके 9 घंटे सोना है इत्मीनान से. ये तो मुझे करना है और मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरी टीम भी ये करे. मुझे सुबह उठ के वर्कआउट करना है, मेरी बिटिया के साथ समय बिताना है, मेरे हस्बैंड के साथ में चाय पीनी है, ये भी मुझे करना है. तो मुझे दौड़ का हिस्सा तो बनना ही नहीं है. तो सीधी सी बात है कि जब कल्चर यहाँ और प्रज्ञा और हम लोग दोनों अलाइंड हैं इन सब चीज़ों में, हम दोनों को ही ऐसी ही ज़िंदगी जीनी है. हम चाहते हैं कि हमारी टीम भी ऐसी ज़िंदगी जिए कि ज्वेलरी बना रहे हैं. अगर मुझे फिक्र करनी होती, दौड़ना होता रात को 12 बजे, तो मैं डॉक्टर बन जाती. बहुत अच्छी थी पढ़ाई में. किसी को बचा लेती, किसी की ज़िंदगी पे असर होता मेरा, तब फिर वो वर्थ था. मैं ज्वेलरी बना रही हूँ, मैं कविताएं लिख रही हूँ. तो अगर मुझे कुदरत ने या इस रब ने ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी दी है कि मैं अपनी ज़िंदगी को अपने हिसाब से ढाल के ये कर सकती हूँ, तो मैं ज़रूर करूँगी. फिर अगर मैं किसी इमरजेंसी डिपार्टमेंट में कहीं होती तो शायद मैं नहीं कह पाती. Exactly, what the jewelry emergency? Exactly, like sometimes my team people they take stress and I am like यार इतना stress लेना, डॉक्टर बन जाओ. तुम ज्वेलरी कंपनी में काम करो, चिल. पहले तो दिमाग को ठीक मस्त रखो एकदम. काम से काम इज आवर मोटो फॉर द टीम. CALM, काम से हिंदी वाला काम. काम अगर नहीं है काम में, तो फिर काम का मतलब नहीं बनता.
इससे खूबसूरत तरीके से तो कोई बोल ही नहीं सकता था. यस, आई थिंक ये भी लोगों को अब सीखना पड़ेगा कि टेंशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है हर वक्त.
आई नो
कि आज 1 मिलियन हुआ तो कल 10 करना है, तो फिर नेक्स्ट ईयर 100 करना है, तो फिर उसका कोई एंड ही नहीं
कोई
है.
एंड नहीं.
थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much. This was super fun.
Yes, this was, and thank you so much for coming and
No,
talking
thank
to
you.
us, and
It's a pleasure, really, honestly.
yeah, we'll keep in touch and
Yeah,
share notes.
absolutely.